Would you travel with your Hermes handbag, or is it not worth the stress? Let's talk about it. I am currently in Hawaii, which is why I thought this topic would be pretty appropriate. I also don't have my little macaron bag, so I decided to use a cute little pineapple Hello Kitty instead. But because I'm here, I was thinking about traveling with my luxury designer items. And I know there's a lot of debate about whether or not you should travel with your designer handbags or shoes, accessories, even some of your clothes. And honestly, I think it depends a lot on so many different factors, like where you're going, what you're doing, and how comfortable you feel. For me, I do travel with some of my luxury items on most of my trips. It really depends on the destination and sort of the vibe. I always think about TPO, the time, place, and occasion, when I am packing my suitcase overall. Like, for example, on my recent trip to Japan and Korea, I was comfortable bringing several handbags, shoes, and even some of my ready to wear because these cities are relatively safe, pretty stylish, and I knew I'd feel comfortable using them there. I also didn't feel like I would stand out too much if I were carrying those items, using those items at the different places that I planned to visit. On the other hand, when I went to Portugal last year, it was my first time, but I also barely brought any branded items. I had heard too many horror stories around pickpocketing. I knew I would kind of stand out anyway, and I didn't want to add more attention necessarily. I also didn't want to have the mental burden of constantly watching my bag or my things. And for Mexico City, which was my first time, I kept it pretty casual. My friends that I went with had previously visited before, and so some of them were comfortable having some of their ready to wear and some smaller handbags with them, but I opted to keep it really casual just given it was my first time there. Other times I visited Mexico, though, for weddings and things like that, I would keep most of my suitcase pretty casual, but I might have one or two items in there specifically for the wedding. So I don't think you have to travel with luxury items. Of course, you don't have to do anything really. It's purely your choice. But I also don't believe in like saving all of the items for special occasions that may or may not happen. Also, some of those special occasions happen outside of my hometown, outside of my home city. And I want to be able to use and enjoy the items that I have in my closet. I mean, that is sort of the name of my channel anyway, My Closet Travels. That said, traveling with luxury can be an extra burden, really. You have to pack more carefully. You do have to be mindful about where you are and where some of your things are. And sometimes it's just not worth the extra stress. I mean, I have gotten to a level where I have figured out a system that works for packing my items. And there are certain items that I feel comfortable packing in my carry-on versus packing in my checked suitcase. So, there's this whole way of working that I have devised for myself, but I do know that's an extra piece to think through. That's an extra layer that you have to work through as you are still figuring out, the other things that you need to pack as part of your trip. I also notice when I travel with some more of my luxury items, I do have more things with me. There are certain things that I have to take on my carry-on, which means I will have typically more than one suitcase. If it's a trip that requires just one carry-on suitcase, then there are different things that I can take with me because I need to fit my clothes and my other items and my toiletries in the same suitcase. So it's a bit of Tetris, and sometimes it's not worth the extra effort, and that's why I go back to that TPO, time, place, and occasion. If there are things or needs that would kind of benefit from having some of those items, then let's go for it. But otherwise, let's not. Of all the things to take on trips, I also find like ready to wear and accessories often take the least amount of space. As in, accessories are pretty small. Sunglasses or jewelry pieces are a little bit smaller. They can be easier to carry with you. And ready to wear is clothes. Like, you're going to have to pack clothes anyway. So packing your ready to wear piece isn't exactly taking up more space. It's like replacing the clothes that you would have packed anyway. As you can see, for Hawaii, I did travel with my Hermes handbag. But it's also because part of Hawaii for me is going to Hermes. That's a part of this trip, so it fit the TPO for me. Compared to other times that I have visited, I really limited it to just this one handbag, and the rest. If the angle changed slightly, it's because my camera decided to drop. I have you very precariously placed. As you can see, for Hawaii, I did travel with a bag and I felt comfortable doing so, and I made the room in my suitcase to be able to do that. But compared to some of the other times I have traveled to Hawaii, I definitely pared down the number of handbags that I brought with me on this particular trip. That's just what felt right for me this time around, but next time I might still want to bring a few more. So with that, tell me, do you travel with your luxury items or do you leave them safely at home? Are you a style everywhere traveler or are you a let's chill on vacation packer? Let me know your fashionable take in the comments down below. I'd love to hear how you decide what you want to take with you on your trips. And with that, I will end this episode with this cute little Hello Kitty here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!